I want to tell you about the night I finished Monster. It was 2 a.m. I had work the next morning. I sat in the dark for 20 minutes doing absolutely nothing because I genuinely did not know what to do with what I had just watched. Not because it was shocking. Not because of violence or a plot twist. Because a 74-episode anime had just asked me a question I could not answer, and I realized I had never been asked it before. That question is the entire reason you need to watch this show. Monster is the greatest anime I have ever seen. I know that is a big claim. I am standing behind it completely. And I think the fact that most anime fans have never watched it is one of the strangest blind spots in this community. Let me explain why I feel this way. Here is the honest pitch, and I know it sounds slow. Monster is about a German surgeon named Tenma who saves a boy's life instead of a politician's. That boy grows up to become a serial killer. Tenma spends the rest of the series trying to stop him. No superpowers. No tournament arcs. No chosen one. Just a doctor in 1980s Germany following a monster across Europe trying to undo the one good decision of his life. I almost did not start it because that description sounded like a slow European thriller. I was wrong. By episode 4 I was canceling plans to keep watching. That almost never happens to me. There is a scene early in Monster where Johann, the killer, talks to a child. He does not threaten the child. He does not hurt the child. He just talks to him. Quietly. Calmly. And something happens to the child after that conversation that I will not spoil. That scene took maybe 3 minutes of screen time. I rewound it twice. I could not identify what Johann actually did wrong in that scene, and that was the moment I understood what this show was doing. It was not going to show me evil I could comfortably distance myself from. It was going to show me evil that looked like intelligence, like gentleness, like understanding. That is so much harder to watch. And so much more honest. I have watched a lot of anime. I love a good villain. Light Yagami is brilliant. Griffith is devastating. But Johann Liebert did something to me that no other anime villain has done. He made me feel like the writers understood something about human psychology that most fiction does not want to touch. Johann does not have a power. He talks to people. He finds the exact thing inside them that they are most ashamed of, or most afraid of, or most hungry for, and he pushes on it gently until they destroy themselves. I kept watching and thinking, I know people like this. Not serial killers. But people who intuitively understand weakness in others and use it. Johann is the extreme version of something real. That is why he is terrifying in a way that fantasy villains never are. Here is what Monster is actually asking, underneath everything. Tenma saved a child because he believed all lives were equal. That belief led directly to dozens of deaths. Johann, the killer, also believes all lives are equal. He just concludes from that they are all equally meaningless. Two people, same premise, completely opposite outcomes. The show never tells you who is right. It never gives you the comfortable resolution. It just sits with both of them and asks you to think about it. I have thought about it many times since that 2 a.m. sitting in the dark. I still do not have a clean answer. That is what great fiction does. It gives you something to carry. Monster is 74 episodes and it moves slowly in the first few. In an era where we consume anime in 12-episode seasonal chunks, asking someone to commit to 74 episodes of slow tension in German politics feels like a lot. I get it. I almost did not start it for exactly that reason. But here is what I will say. The first 10 episodes of Monster contain more actual character depth than most complete anime series. The side characters, people who appear for 2 or 3 episodes, feel more real than protagonists in shows I have watched end to end. Naoki Urasawa built a world that rewards patience in a way that almost nothing else does. If you have ever finished a popular anime and thought, that was fine but it felt shallow, Monster is the answer to that feeling. If you watch one thing based on a recommendation from this channel, let it be Monster. Not because it is entertaining, though it is. Because it is one of the rare pieces of fiction that will actually change how you think about something. I finished it weeks ago and I am still thinking about Johann and Tenma and that question I cannot answer. That is the definition of something worth watching. Subscribe if you want a channel that takes anime seriously, because this medium deserves that conversation, and so do you.